I want to. I'm not going to work on my hands. Stop about the truth. Pero eu vou comentar o cara vai para o Brasil. Mas hoje, já tem lá foi. Já se mostrou o que pensa então já terá que nesse momento já dá o que vai ser a capa bem. Já disse ele já terá mas
especially role especially the role
cara o que
especially the role le yebo yes it is me speaking to you. The moon. Then I end our stream. Yeah? So I no, I said I look stream because I thought it was starting. It's okay.
I was a few excited.
Sorry. Jangan polisi lah pak ya kasih. Sedap. Mau kena potong. Apa bisnis?
Don't leave the untamed spirit of Jacob Zuma, don't leave. Don't leave the untamed spirit of the MK party, don't leave. Don't leave the untamed spirit of the MK youth, don't leave. Don't leave the untamed spirit of the MK student movement, don't leave. Don't leave, don't leave. Don't leave, don't leave. Don't leave, don't leave. Amanda. I want to.
Manda, Witu, Anda, I'm so versatile. I'm just here to make few announcements that our international speaker is here. I think in 1 minute let's join. I see familiar faces of the activists from my youngest age when I was 19. We greet you to Zigalala. We greet other activists next to you, my brother. I can see other activists, even if St. Otto and Jonathan, I recognize all of you. I greet you who hold the MKSM, hold the clinic, the mother only, as well as the students. So I greet all of you. And then also I greet the technical team for Umar Season, Umar, the Shan and Benny Song, and Song.
Press hard.
contribute afresh to a new global agenda that takes us out of the crisis of modernity as promoted by Keynote. And this knowledge is important and relevant to the current needs of the masses, which they can use to bring about a social transformation out of their present. Eurocentric knowledge is not produced for its own sake. Its purpose throughout the ages has been to enable them to know it, take control of their territories, including human and material resources for their benefit. And such control of knowledge was used to exploit the non-European people, colonize them both mentally and geostrategically. Present today can be used as an occasion for the journey of African psychological, social, cultural, as well as the political liberation. Africology can also be used as a mobilization statement and the basis for articulating an African agenda for knowledge production that is not just relevant to African conditions, but also sets an agenda for the reclaiming of African originality, of knowledge and wisdom, which set the rest of the human society on the road of civilization. And key to the legacy of this, we want to do four things. We want to preserve Africa and African heritage. We want to legitimize the central role of language. We want to use Africology as a universal emancipator. And most importantly, when my elders gave me this work, they said, institute an Africology Pan-African Center. Well, today I'm here to report to you, 5 years ago, on the 11th of July, here in the Kingdom of KwaZulu-Natal, there exists a living Pan-African Institute. So the curriculum is the term studies. The aim is to encourage that you continue to study logically and do fact-finding on African knowledge systems. We want the Institute to ensure that African-centered research results in practical solutions to challenges facing African communities. We want the Africology studies to educate and empower disadvantaged communities with a special focus on youth and women. And definitely, after these 4 days, the men have to be there. So what is the purpose that I stand here on? The purpose I stand here on, unapologetically, is unify all Africans at home and abroad in the diaspora under one banner, Africanness. To educate the Africans of our rich history beyond the days of slavery and apartheid, so that we may know the worth and the true value of our existence. Thirdly, to focus the African self-reliant and self-sufficient people, to focus on removing the mental shackles that keep us from reaching our full potential. And lastly, to assist in the empowerment of the African man, woman, and child. In closing, I am honored and privileged that I've been given the task by the ancestors. I'm honored and privileged that I am Makoti Wagiti. I am Chamuga. I am the Makoti of the Ingidi. Proudly so. Lilizela, what's wrong with you? So we set up the Institute to respond to this, which is why I stand on this stage. We're going to deal with the prevalent miseducation about African history. We're going to deal with the decline in the appreciation by African people for the respect of traditional values, symbolism, and African systems. We will be responding to the popularization of terms such as Pan-Africanism, also to deal with the definitions and the practical ways in which we can implement. Lastly, our work at the Institute is to develop a study in the international way to explore, highlight, teach, and network internationally based only on the African prism, the African-centered approach. Siyabonga. So it gives me great pleasure this time because I know you are not here to come and hear some of us. Anyway, while we are here on the podium, I think one of your senior leaders, the member of parliament is here. I really can't just do her thing in greeting. Please, Madam Honorable Member, would love to see you.
Siyayisabalenda ekuyo yimbilenda awuyimbi siyayisabalenda yimbilenda yimbilenda siyayisabalenda yimbilenda awuyimbilenda siyayisabalenda yimbilenda Embelenda, say Sabalenda, Embelenda. Oh, Embelenda, say Sabalenda, Embelenda. Oh, Embelenda, say Amandla, Amandla. Is Comrade Umar, the provincial spokesperson of the MK Youth League and the member of the Parliament Assembly, groomed by the MK Youth League. It is a to be with you, comrades, today. I've missed you all so much. So I am happy to be here with you, spending my night with all of you, as well as our international guest, Ngicha. I don't have anything else to say besides to say, Amandla! Amandla! Viva President Zuma, viva! Viva MK Party, viva! Viva MK Youth League, viva! Sihole, Kibane, sihole! Sihole, Mkabela, sihole! Amandla! Thank you.
Full sight to see that our leadership is in place. And I've heard messages and I've observed some of these parliamentary proceedings, and you're never a backseater. Good training, especially from KZN. Let's hear it for our honorable member. So at this time, we have the privilege of hosting, and actually the people who made it happen for us, the vice president of one of the oldest Pan-Africanization, the Ethiopian World Federation. You need to Google this organization. President Esquire Cheryl Murray Powell, who is making her first time to South Africa. They chose to have their convention in Tanzania. So once again, let me ask her to come and give us a message of support. Thank you so much for making it and for making this happen.
Thola ngespa. Thola, thola, thola ngespa. Thola, 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 Tula Gispa. Tula ta. Tula Gispa. Tula Gispa. Tula, Tula, 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 Tula Gispa.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Even say grand rising, because it is a grand read. In this room, we have 3 generations of South Africans, from what I can tell. As mentioned, my name is Sherry. I'm a dietary supplement, trade, psychedelics, and regulatory attorney. But more importantly, and I stand here in capacity of the first vice president of the Ethiopian World Incorporated. First of all, thanks to Mama Ya Ashantiwa for this coming together, what we have today. Applause and honor to my sister. She has great plans. She has great plans for South Africa. It's very appropriate that we started off a song by Bob Marley. That song is one of hope and revolution and change. We can be buried in the belly of a ship, struck down by tanks, but our spirits will always rise as revolutionaries. Grand rising, grand rising. We may be bent, but never broken. And South Africa is a place where that revolutionary spirit is very much alive. It's in the air. And to see young people in the room, it means that now. I have with me my mentors and elders, 2 of which are here. And also make sure I recognize Empress Ima, Atheist Ima Young, who is responsible for being here in collaboration and partnership. But we have Rastati on that end, and we have Sister Marjorie on that end. And as we go on this track, what's coming next? We need to make sure that we are getting good counsel and mentoring. So important to be surrounded, and that's why I'm glad to see generations. With that said, I'm going to tell you World Federation, but what I'm extremely excited about is the Institute of Africology, Pan-African Institute. The Ethiopian World Federation incorporated Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, the great emperor of Ethiopia, King of Kings, conquering Lion of Judah, Rastafari. Rastafari. He founded the organization because he traveled the world. And wherever he went in the world, the diaspora, he would see that Black people weren't treated like they have the royal lineage that they have. And there was a disruption in our ancestral memory of the fact that we were great kings and queens. And he wanted to make sure it was clear that we don't have to accept that treatment because we have an identity with Ethiopia, an identity with Africa. And that's why he formed in New York City the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Since the past few days in South Africa, accompanying none other than the great Dr. Umar Ifatunde on his journey and his visits, we have had nothing but excellent treatment by South Africa, the people of South Africa. Doubted we were home before, we are reassured that we are home now based on your hospitality and treatment. So for that, I give you a tremendous amount of thanks. Today, we spent time at the Institute of Pan-African Studies, not too far from Durban. It was with great joy that we got to encounter the young people, brilliance of young Black boys of South Africa, South Africa's future. This work that is being done must continue. This work that's being done must have the support of all of those in the room today. It is too important that we don't skip a generation that has this revolutionary spirit. But that revolutionary spirit needs to be guided by knowledge and wisdom. And that is what is being received at the Institute of Africology. So we give our support, our endorsement for the Institute of Africology. We are looking forward to our next visit, provide support, resources, care, encouragement to these young Black boys and also young Black girls of South Africa. So may the work continue. May those of you in this room continue to be role models and examples of what it looks like when you get that revolutionary spirit correct and right and you reinforce it with knowledge. Thank you again for your hospitality. Thank you for being an example to the world of what it means to move past terrorism of the past into a bright future of gifts and much abundance. So we wish you the best from the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. We anticipate a visit very, very soon, such a gracious manner. Give thanks.
I really hope that the young people heard when you said you had mentors, because for you to be a real activist and journey, you're gonna have to pay attention. And let me say something today. I had a chance of 5 minutes with your SG. This Secretary General of, we're looking at the next president. Okay, let me But if I don't endorse you, but what I'm saying is, in the 5 minutes I spoke to this young woman, I have to learn more than just Marx and Lenin. And you know, when this young girl said that to me, I was like, we finally arrived. Because it's about time you study Jacob Zuma. He's changed the face of politics. You know that. Political science is writing the books now. You know that. But start studying our real people. Start studying the people who we know have had the real experience on the ground. Leave those other people alone. They have not made any sense to us in Africa, and they will never make any sense. So I am telling you of these young people that I'm going to be. At this time, I'd like to invite another young man who brought me to the Net Bank to speak about spiritual detox, and I thought, is this guy okay? Spiritual detox. Sabella Kumala, please come and give your message of support.
Let's say that, comrades.
As a spiritual leader, I thought kuzoba right uma ngisho nje umthandazo wethu sonke eAfrika othi thina sizwe sikalela izwe elathathwa mabawuyeke yeke umhlaba mabawuyeke umhlaba wethu. Thank you. I stand before you not only as a voice, but as a vessel carrying the echoes of our ancestors, the questions of our youth, and the responsibilities we inherit as Africans, called to lead in spirit and in structure. To our mama ya ngiti, umama wesintu, umama wesizwe sonke, umthunywa wobuholi, I thank you. Your work is not seasonal, it is sacred. From Inkwali to very gathering, you have planted a seed in young men that will grow into forest of characters, accountability, and spiritual resilience. Ngiyabonga kakhulu mama. To Africology, the institution that holds the flame of intellectual sovereignty, I honor your role in returning us to ourselves. To Dr. Umar Johnson, Sister Shir Powell, and all leaders present, ngiyanibingelela ngobuqotho. Your presence is a testament to the fact that the movement towards liberation is multidimensional. It is scholarly, spiritual, and strategic. Today, I speak not from a podium, but from a mountain, one built by blood, dreams, and prayers of our people. In this lecture, I must name that we stand at a crossroads. South Africa is in history but strained by disparity. The echoes of liberation being under the weight of corruption, disillusionment, and fragment leadership. We must ask ourselves, what does it mean to lead ethically in this landscape? What's the role of spirituality in political renewal? We cannot separate government from spirit. African spirituality teaches us, it teaches us isidlo sabangwethu. That wisdom must be shared communally and hoarded. It reminds us that leadership is service status. Mama Yangi, this work reclaims where boys are not punished for feeling, but guided to heal, where masculine reverence begins with personal accountability. What we've witnessed since Friday at Inkwali is a curriculum of rehumanization. One national policy desperately needs is a call to deepen our activism with ancestral intelligence. Abuyona into okumele sibone ngaphandle kuphela. Leadership begins inside. So let us build future formed by spiritual ethics. Let's not just to fill positions, but to fulfill purpose. Let our politics be poetic, grounded in justice, rhythm, and humility. And leave this gathering. Footprints speak louder than our declarations. Amadlozi engathi bengaba nathi. Let the ancestors walk with us, guide our governance, and steady our spirit. Ngiyabonga, Kamako.
It was His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie said, let us be of a new race. Let us think as a new people, but let us think as one. And today we are reminded that so above, so below. At this time, I'd like you to help me welcome the performance of a very, very astute young man who music speaks to the soul of what we're about to do. Njebo, please come, Njebo.
Molweni. Anisebahle ma comrade. Ni right? Ndithanda neva. Andiyazi na kodwa ke ndinethemba igama lam ndinguNjebo. Ndinani maybe for the next whatever 10 minutes or so I'm gonna give maybe 2 pieces. Enzoyula ithi intombi yomthonyama. Intombi yomthonyama hayi umntu omnyama. Umthonyama. Uyeva ke? Ndimfanisa amabele akafana nentaba ezasecofini yabo. Amabele entombi. Loo ntombi iphi? Ndiyibona isuka phi emhlangeni. Phi enyokeni. Nansi intombi yomthonyama. Yo,
Tonyama. Tonyama. Tongani amabele anjengentabaya sekofimvaba. Tongani amabele yakhe mahle anjengentabaya sekofimvaba. Ndamna uthande ndi ngalenzwakazi ngasendikhwele phezu kweze igama lakhe. Nyama. Nansi intombi yomthonyama. Jongani inwele zakhe zinhle. Zinhle zezomthonyama. Jongani ibala lakhe lihle. Lihle ibala lomthonyama. Damtanda mna uthando endinalo lwalenzwakazi ngasendikhwele phezu kwentaba ndimemeze igama lakhe. Maye Ubondilinda, ubondilinda, ubondilinda wesana lwam. Aqokelele inkomo zelobo lamna. Linda, ubondilinda, ubondilinda wesana lwam. Saqokelele inkomo zelobo lamna. Ubondilinda, ubondilinda wena lwam. Ndisaqokelele inkomo zelobo lamna. Ubuhle ndoda zinkomo zayo. Ubuhle bendoda zinkomo zayo. Lokwaxhosa thina sixhosa thina. Ubuhle bendoda zinkomo zayo. Ubondilinda wesana lwam. Sitsho njalo lokwaxhosa thina. Sitsho xhosa thina. Sitsho njalo kwaxhosa thina. Ubondilinda wam. Hey, nakwaZulu. Ubondilinda. Ubondilinda. Ubondilinda wesana lwam. Ndisaqoke inkomo zelobo lam. Yes. Ubondilinda. Hey, ubondilinda. Ubondilinda wesana lwam. Ndisaqoke zelobo lam. nakwaZulu lithini? Ubondilinda. Ubondilinda. Ubondilinda wesana lwam. Ndisaqokelela nkomo zelobo. nakwaZulu lithini? Ubondilinda. Ubondilinda. Ubondilinda wesana lwam. Ndisaqokelela nkomo zelobo. Nithi ubondilinda. linda ubondilinga wosana lwam ndisaqokelela inkomo zelobola mna. Ndiyabulela.
Make some noise. Come on, Debo. So Rasadiki, this is the part where we name up before we start with the real work, right? So now that they're relaxed, you know what's coming, right? We give you the hors d'oeuvres because the main meal is on its way. And you know by the main meal when the hostess who is presenting it is a Secretary General. And so at this time, I'm going to ask our esteemed Secretary General. We love you, you know. Get turned away now. Kabela. Esteemed Kabela, please welcome your Secretary General.
Ay, no palo, Tokwaza. Chikitela, yitlik chikitela. Siyabonga. Mine is to simply introduce the leadership that has joined us from across all structures. We greet the Commander General, President Jacob Zuma, in his absentia. We greet the members of the National High Command in their absentia. We greet the members of the national detachments, those who are not here in their absentia. Joining us from the national detachment of those who the Party Youth League is Wasomlomo Umbali Matlaufela. Then we've got Uslalo Wetu, Unjinji, Umakwa, Suguma Njinji Babon. And then we've got the provincial detachment represented by Unopala Wabo Usnentlantla Shngaz. We've got the regional detachment of Etegwini Richin. We've got Unopala Usnela. We have Usmanga Newswa, also part of the regional detachment. We've got, of course, our members of parliament. We've got Honorable Norm, who has already greeted us and spoken. We're also joined by a member of the provincial detachment, Ubonso Musia. We are joined by Honorable Shezi, a member of parliament. We are joined by our affiliates. We've got the national chairperson, Umuntu Uminentle Cibani. So, they can't see you. Greet our lovely media and communications team sitting in the booth. We've got the head of production, Ubongani Bigini. We've got Uspiwe Mgid Utabo Mbata. We also have Unandi Kumar joining us and running our communications today. Comrades, this lecture comes at a pivotal time where yesterday the president of the country addressed us he essentially scattered and said that the allegations presented the Mkhonto Party Youth League were saying is enough and we're taken to the streets. Comrades, this coming Friday, Mkhonto Party Youth League will be marching to the Union Building, demanding and declaring that what the president has declared of us, CET, pants, pants, and most importantly, pants, Ramaphosa. Baholi and members of the Youth League, join us on Friday at the Union Buildings. As young people, we answer the choice of, are we going to lead this or are we going to allow ourselves to be led by puppets of white monopoly capital? So join in Baholi on Friday, again at the Union Buildings. The youth will be marching. We are inviting members of the public, members of the Youth League, and most importantly, we are inviting South Africans. It's the other party that we'd like to introduce, or rather the league that's not chair in absentia. We'd like to acknowledge Mama Wade of Mkhonto Party, the Women's League. We'd also like to acknowledge the student movement who's here, Secretary General Umtobifo Slamini. We'd also like to acknowledge the provincial detachment of the mother body in absentia, who is not. We'd also like to acknowledge the regional detachment who's here, Undabe Zita, who's the organizer. Baholi, thank you so much for joining us today. It's important that young people are seen to be intellectuals and mostly be educated by what Mkhonto Party stands for, which is, and most importantly, reclaiming our comrades. I'd like to hand over Unjinji, National Chairperson Way to come and speak a couple of words and introduce our president. Jinji, the problem is yours.
Awona amonto chomdaba ndumiso onke okoke awamapwa okuzeke oh Bandla, we too. Bandla, we too. Ngibingelele. Igama lami kunjinjwa kaMagwaza. My work here is simple but hard. Maybe one can say that. But before I do that, I would like to introduce the provincial leadership of the MK Youth League in KwaZulu-Natal. Umfowethu Ndumiso lapha sukuma mfowethu Sibingelele bekubona. Siyabonga, siyabonga. As I have just said, that my work is very simple but very hard. I am tasked here to come and introduce the son of the soil, the prince of Pan-Africanism. So that is not easy, right? And as a young person and as an academia and as someone who still pursues the understanding of Pan-Africanism, your socialism, and all other ideological composition that we have, it's not easy. We think Dr. Umar when we were young, I think 13, 14, when we were arriving in an institution of higher learning. That's when we get to hear about the man, and the man is unique. So for me, standing here and introducing him, it's an honor. So it's not an easy job, right? So Umar Rashad Abdullah Johnson was born Dr. Ifa Tunde. Yeah, I was born on the 21st of August in 1974. He's an African American black activist. I don't agree with this line, but I don't want to agree. He's an African activist. Yeah. And a motivational speaker. Dr. Omar refers to himself as the prince of Pan-Africanism. I don't agree with this one as well. We refer ourselves, it's us who are saying is the prince of Pan-Africanism. We cannot be told by white people. I think that's one thing that we must correct all the time. That when white people can see that we are glorifying our people, they want to tell us on how we must glorify them. That's one fundamental problem that we must deal with. Dr. Omar also holds a doctorate in clinical psychology, specializing in areas like child behavioral therapy and African-centered education. His qualifications reflect his deep commitment to understanding and addressing issues affecting African-American children and families. These credentials have solidified his reputation as a leading aspect in this field. Professional life of Dr. Omar. Dr. Omar Johnson Ifa Tunde has built a remarkable professional career as a psychologist, an author, a public speaker. He is a certified school psychologist with expertise in identifying and supporting children with special needs. His work focuses on addressing educational inequalities and promoting African-centered education. Beyond psychology, Dr. Omar is an outspoken advocate for community empowerment. He also authored books and delivered lectures worldwide, inspiring audiences for embrace cultural pride and self-determination. His efforts also include raising funds for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, a project aimed at transforming education for African American youth. Dr. Omar teaches us about, Dr. Ifa Tunde teaches us about African challenges deserving African solutions. I think I'll stop there for now because the introduction of the Son of the Soul is about 6 pages, yeah. So it can be 9 o'clock at night. It's a thesis, yes, it's a thesis, yes. So I will stop there for now. So I would like us to welcome the Son of the Soul on stage, and let's just listen very carefully. Thank you. Wow, thanks a lot.
Amandla, enene wenyamazane. Yole, enene wenyamazane. Enene wenyamazane. I wish I did not turn. I wish I did not turn. Enene wenyamazane. 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 Enene wenyamazane. Enene wenyamazane. wish I did nothing. I wish I did nothing. And when you're beside you, and when you're beside you, and when you're beside, when you're beside, when you're beside, Amanda. Mama, awe mama tulu ngakali. Awe mama, awe mama tulu ngakali. You paso, mama, mama tulu ngakali. Paso. You so awesome. You so shy. You so shy. Oh, no. You so
Hidengalale, Isos, Nyamazane ha. Isos, Hidengalale,
so shy.
ha.
So shy.
Haukusu esh, Haukusu kia, Haukusu esh, Haukusu kia. Hunisu esh, Hunisu kia, Hunisu esh, Hunisu kia. Kia. Hanyamazana siyaya, siyaya. Hanyamazana hakichima, siyaya. Hanyamazana shumilebe. Hanyamazana hakichima, siyaya. Hanyamazana niseshawe, siyaya. Hanyamazana shumilebe. Hanyamazana masosha, siyaya. EMK, Detsma, Susha Kento, How Morale, Susha Kento, How discipline, how discipline, how aggressiveness, how discipline, how aggressiveness, Tawati AK, Tawati Nelson, Tawati AK, Tawati Nelson, Egethi helele sizo khona siphaxula. Asiyothela mayeza sibulale senja. Simkhonko. Sibenzani? Uqhamuka wenzansi lomkhonto wesisu. Asiyothela mayeza sibulale.
Mandla wethu, mandla, qina mkhonto wesizwe, qina, qina mkhonto wesizwe, qina. Comrades, ngicela samukeleni ispeaker sethu on the
Amandla, Mabuye, Africa, Black Queens forever. Y'all better get it. Black Queens forever. Black power, make some noise, South Africa, make some noise. The last time that I was in Durban, it was during the Fees Must Fall rally, 2016. I had the opportunity to speak with some of the student leaders. In fact, many of them. They jam-packed some of the universities here in Durban and also in Cape Town. I was disappointed to learn a few months later that the Fees Must Fall movement had been crushed. Brothers and sisters, it's an honor to be here with you tonight. South Africa is very special to Dr. Umar, and for a lot of reasons. And one of those reasons is due to the fact that a lot of what you suffer here in South Africa, although you are 80% population, is very similar to what your American African brothers and sisters suffer across the pond in the United States. A lot of what they do here, they do to us. And a lot of what they do to us, they do over here. Brothers and sisters, a lot of wars that have to be fought in South Africa. There's a lot of wars the continent. There's a lot of wars that have to be fought across the diaspora. I was in Belgium not too long ago, and I bring you revolutionary Pan-African greetings from your African brothers and sisters in the belly of the beast in Belgium. I was in London a few weeks ago at the Oxford Union debating the father of Elon Musk, Mr. Errol Musk, on neocolonialism in Africa. I bring you revolutionary greetings from your African brothers in the UK. I was in Toronto, Canada not too long ago, where they're standing strong against the forces of racism throughout Canada. And I bring you revolutionary greetings from your brothers and sisters in Canada. I was in Guadeloupe and Barbados and Bahamas and Jamaica not too long ago. And again, I bring you revolutionary greetings from your brothers and sisters across the Caribbean islands. And I was in Australia for the first time a few months ago. And I bring you revolutionary greetings from your African brothers and sisters in the land down under in Australia. Brothers and sisters in South Africa, you have to recommit yourself to the liberation of not only South Africa, but the entire mother continent. And as you fight this war against neo-apartheid, because that's exactly what it is. Apartheid never fell. What happened on April 27th, 1994 was a dress rehearsal for the new apartheid. How can apartheid be over when 40% of black women in South Africa are unemployed? How can apartheid be over when 47% of black youth in South Africa are unemployed? How can apartheid be over when 71% of all managerial jobs in South Africa are still under the control of white people? How can apartheid be over when more than 70% of all land in South Africa is still controlled and dominated by Caucasians. How can apartheid be over when the ruling government does not have ultimate control over how the resources in South Africa are redistributed? If there's one thing that you need in South Africa, just like we need in America as a result of the enslavement of our African ancestors, you need a redistribution of South Africa's wealth. A redistribution of the wealth. No one was forced to pay back what they stole. There can't be justice until there is restitution. And y'all have to make sure that you fight for restitution, not equality. Now, some people would say, Dr. Umar, what's wrong with fighting for equality in South Africa? What's wrong with black South Africa having the same chances as white South Africa? What's wrong with black South Africa having the same chances as Chinese South Africa? What's wrong with black South Africa having the same chances as East Indian South Africa? I'll tell you why. Equality will bring you more inequality. And the reason equality will bring you more inequality is because the Chinese have more resources than you do. The Anglo-Saxon has more resources than you do. The Boer has more resources than you do. The Indian has more resources than you do. So if the government gives you the same amount of help that they give to white people remain in charge. If the government gives black people the same amount of help they give the Chinese and Indians, the Chinese and Indians will still do better than black people. Because if you keep it equal, if you keep things equal, you never account for the inequity that was already there before apartheid ended. So we're not fighting for equality in South Africa. We're fighting for equity in South Africa. What is the difference between equality and equity? Equality says everybody gets the same amount, no matter how rich you are or how poor you are. This is why equality doesn't work. You can't keep unequal groups at the same level. You want equity. Equity says if the white man has 250,000 rand more than the black man, I have to bring the black man up to the level of the white man. Then we can practice equality. So brothers and sisters, as you struggle, you make sure in parliament, in the streets, in the media, you let them know equity precedes equality. If equality precedes equity, there will always be inequality. And I want to say, as we fight and as we struggle, South Africa, you have to make sure that you keep abreast of the information, not only going on in your country, but around the world. If you're not reading an international newspaper every week, you're behind. If you're not reading a South African newspaper every other day, you are behind. Things are always changing, and you have to be on top of the most recent transformations. You must be intelligent. You must be knowledgeable. You must engage in critical analysis on a regular basis. And if you don't currently have a study group, y'all need to start one. At least once a month. We need to be coming together to study information about the South African past, the South African present, and most of all, what they're planning for the South African future. Because one thing I see on the horizon for South Africa, if we cut it out, and that is the fact that too many non-black Africans are gobbling up too much of South Africa's land. And if we don't stop the encroachment on South African land, your grandchildren's grandchildren may live in a South Africa where black people own no land at all. We need to understand something. When we vote, when we organize, when we put our candidates out there, one of the things they have to fight is for the government of South Africa to invest in the business interests of South Africans. See, when the Chinese come to South Africa, they come with a line of credit from China. When the Indians come to South Africa, they come with a line of credit from India. When the Jews come to South, when the Arabs come to South Africa, they come with a line of credit from their native land. So if the South African government doesn't specifically and intentionally impact South Africans, we will be business interests of other races. You have to put people first. And I'm trying to understand, why are we so anxious? The country predominantly black. Why are we so anxious? Country historically black. Why are we so anxious in a country overwhelmingly black to say we black people first, brothers and sisters? I am Africanist. I am a Garveyite. I follow the teachings of the greatest Pan-Africanist to ever walk this earth, builder of the largest movement in modern history, the right excellent Marcus Messiah Garvey. And as Pan-Africanists, believe in putting black people first. Some of you have a problem with that because your religion has brainwashed you into thinking it's a sin against God to care about your people more than you care about others. One of the psychological disabilities of African people, South Bronx, from Alabama to Angola. The religions we belong to, not Christianity per se, but which you were taught it. Not Islam per se, you were taught it. Most Africans around the world are religion in a colorblind way that makes you feel like you're not allowed to see race and not see oppression. You must be able to see race. You must be able to see the differences between black and white. And anyone who tries to blind you to your reality in South Africa is an opportunist or an enemy of the South African people. In addition to that, half of South Africa is under the age of 30. Half of South Africa is under the age of 30. That's a good thing. You know why? That politicizes the youth right now. If we conscientize the youth right now, if we organize the youth right now, we can have a new South Africa in 10 years. So we got to make organizing those 12 to 17-year-olds. We got to make sure we're organizing those 17, 24-year-olds. We got to make sure we're organizing those 24 to 30-year-olds because the future of South Africa will be in their hands. You're the youth right now, but in 20, 30 years, you won't be the youth anymore. So you have to make sure you are training those who are going to replace you. One of the biggest weaknesses in the African race, wherever we are in the world, is we are the only people who pray to God for their leaders while everybody else makes and grows their own. White people don't pray for leaders. Russians don't pray for leaders. They make them. Jews in Israel, they don't pray for leaders. They make them. Black people, hands and knees, praying to God for leader. You don't need to pray to God for your leaders. Make them, grow them, and teach them. Brothers and sisters, one of the things we're going to have to organize, one of the things your generation is going to have to get right that my generation didn't, that is you're going to have to suffocate the ego of the. And what do I mean when I talk about the ego of the Negro? Most of you here are here for the complete and total liberation of South Africa, or for the return of the land and the resources in South Africa. But some of you are not here for the people. You are here for your ego. You are here to see what you can get out the movement. You are here to see what you can siphon off of the struggle. When we study the Black freedom Africa and America, the Caribbean, all throughout the world, we have to understand that there has always been a selfish impetus within the liberation struggle that undermined it, sabotaged it. You, brothers and sisters, or on the boa that lives inside of you. Every South African has a white man inside of them. The white man inside of them. Every Jamaican African, Brazilian African, Canadian African, because the whole African world has been victimized by white supremacy. So us on some level still has a cracker consciousness. The question is, do you recognize it? The question is, do you control it? The question is, do you study your enough and long enough to recognize consistencies so you can control them and prevent them from sabotaging your movement? Malcolm X was murdered for ego. Tom Sankara was murdered for ego. Samora Machel, Eduardo Mondlane were murdered for ego. Walter Rodney in Guyana was murdered for ego. There's even a strong chance Chris Hani was murdered for ego. If somebody does something better than you do, are you man or woman enough? Are you humble enough? Are you graceful enough to say, you know what? You do that better than me. And for the sake of the people, I want you to be in charge. The problem with us as African people, we so used to being told what to do by white people that when it's time to be told what to do by black people, we want to get rebellious. We don't like internal racial authority because we ain't used to it. The white man told us he's the only person we got to listen to. So when we're all around black folks, we want to act a fool, but we never act a fool around the Caucasian. I need you to recognize the self-hate within yourself and tear it out. Because if you don't kill the Caucasian in you, the Caucasian in you will kill the black liberation struggle. My brothers, your sisters are not your problem. My sisters, your brothers are not your problem. We got to stop this back and forth male and female nonsense. United we stand, divided we fall. God made the woman to need the man, and God made the man to need the woman. The masculine principle and the feminine principle in nature are equal. One is not better than the other. So we have to stop blaming each other for problems that racism gave to all of us. Young people, make sure you are honoring your ancestors daily. In our culture, I don't care if you're Zulu, I don't care if you're Xhosa, I don't care if you're Swazi, Khoi, I don't care if you're Igbo, Yoruba, I don't care if you're Maasai or Kikuyu. All African cultures believe in the presence of our living dead. And our ancestors are our angels. They are the protection that is around us. And if we do not call on them, we will not have their support. Have you noticed? In South Africa, the white man names everything after one of his ancestors. He makes statues to all of his ancestors. All over the world, the white man is honoring his white ancestors, asking them to help them keep you in bondage. Are you asking your ancestors to help you liberate yourself from bondage? This war is as political as it is spiritual. And guess what? God, the Almighty, will not give us victory over white supremacy if all we want to do is imitate white supremacy. Let me explain something. We're not fighting for a free South Africa so you can wear Gucci and Louis. We're not fighting for a free South Africa We're not fighting for a free South Africa so you can drive Mercedes Benzes and Louis Vuittons. We're not trying to remove the white man from capitalism to put a Negro in his place. We want to destroy white supremacy and its economic system of capitalism. One of the biggest contradictions in the global African freedom struggle, I see it everywhere I go. We act just like the people we're trying to get rid of. Black men are treating black women the same way white men treat white women. Black people are worshiping materialism the way white people do. Black people are tearing each other down, killing each other the same way white people do. Do you really think God, Almighty Supreme Consciousness, the Most High, by whatever name you call, because no name is sufficient, God is beyond description? But understand, do you really think God is going to help us beat the white man just so we can replace him? The universe don't need another group of parasites, because that's what the Caucasian is. He's a parasite. And let me say this, South Africa. Let me say this. And I get in trouble for saying it, but it's true. Anybody in Africa, in any country, on any coast, in any province, if they are not a black African, they are not an African. They are a visitor, an invader, an opportunist, or a colonizer. I know the South African Constitution says South Africa belongs to everybody who lives in it. Why doesn't the Constitution of Israel say that? Why doesn't the Constitution say that? Why doesn't the Constitution of France or Belgium or the UK says that? I've never heard of a crime in my life. Break into somebody else's home, steal their land and resources, and because you've been stealing for so long, they want you to stay as a member of the family. A few weeks ago, I'm watching entertain President Ramaphosa in the House. Donald Trump is talking about land appropriation crimes. First of all, if you steal something from me and I come take it back, that's not land appropriation crime, that's land appropriation justice. But in that conversation, I was disappointed that President Ramaphosa did not take issue with Donald Trump's narrative. He did not provide any context. Did you not tell this man that y'all stole this land? Did you not tell this man white people are not indigenous to South Africa? Did you not tell this land what we went through in apartheid? Did you not remind this man that South Africa was one of the last countries to get their freedom and independence? You're just going to sit there and let this white supremacist disrespect your nation and not say a word back to him. But that's okay. And I don't seek to demonize the president, but I hold him accountable like I do anybody else, and you have to do the same thing. Some of y'all might ask, Dr. Umar, why are you so concerned about South Africa? You 20 hours away in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What do y'all care in New York and Alabama? What do y'all care in Atlanta, in Houston? What do y'all care in Detroit, in Chicago? What do y'all care in Oakland and Cincinnati? I'll tell you why we care. Because central to Pan-Africanism, true revolutionary Pan-Africanism, is the principle that as the African continent goes, so goes all African people in the world, no matter where you live. If South Africa never gets free, Black America never gets free. If South Africa never gets free, Black Jamaica never gets free. If South Africa never gets free, Black Canada never gets free. If South Africa never gets free, Black Brazil will never get free. So I have as much interest in your freedom as you do, because as the mother goes, so goes all of her children. Marcus Garvey said, a strong man is strong everywhere. And that's true, because everywhere I go, Chinese are in power and they are respected. Wherever I go, Arabs have power and they are respected. Wherever I go, Jews and East Indians have power and they are respected. And everywhere I've been in the world, and I've been to every continent. Black people are disrespected and marginalized, even in Africa. So until we make up our minds that we're tired of being last, we will never be first. Because one thing is for certain, and two things are for true. God intended African people to rule this planet. You are never supposed to relinquish your divine control to the Caucasian. And this world will never run right until black people are back in charge. It don't make us better than nobody, but we have a natural organic right to rule this earth. That's why we were the only people on it by ourselves for over 200,000 years. Do you realize if we never migrate out of Africa, you don't get Chinese? Do you realize if we never migrate out of Africa, you don't get Caucasians? Do you realize if we never leave Africa, you don't get East Indians? There would have been no other race if we never migrated continent. All these other races are our children, and no parent allows their children to run their house. It is our job to take back control of the house. Brothers and sisters, it is important that we find a way to deal with our conflicts in a healthy fashion. One of the weaknesses of African people is our inability to handle conflicts in a reasonable and respectable manner. Somebody brought up the question to me yesterday. They said, Dr. Umar, what do you think about the immigrant crisis in South Africa, where we got Africans from other countries coming into South Africa, taking jobs from South African, breaking strike lines where South Africans are trying to struggle to get better pay and employment? And I said there would be no South African immigrant crisis if South Africa organized and created your own Department of Immigration. I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about the community. So that if you're coming from Mozambique, you check in with us first. You coming from Angola, you check in with us first. You coming from Botswana, you come and you check in with us first. You coming from Lesotho, you come and you check in with us first, and then we'll let you know what is okay for you to do in our, and we'll let you know what's not okay for you to do in our country. But the problem with us, we don't organize and we don't communicate with other Africans from other places. And then when they show up and do things against our interests, we're ready to cut them off. When if we would have invited them to the table for a respectable conversation, we could have alleviated all the problems. Let us understand something. These 54, 55 countries we have, that is the work of neocolonialism. That's not the work of black people. We didn't sit down at the Berlin Conference in 1884 and 1885 and carve Africa up like a pie. White people did that. Some of you in South Africa got relatives in Zimbabwe. You got relatives in Botswana. There's no line to cut you off from your kith and kin. So why are you using white man borders to make enemies out of your own race? Brothers and sisters, we have an alcoholism problem in South Africa. Oh, y'all done woke up now. We got a couple drunks in here. Listen, brothers and sisters, I don't want you drinking. Do you know why people drink? I'm going to put on my psychologist hat for a minute. People drink to drown out problems they don't want to confront and overcome. People smoke to smoke away problems they don't want to conquer, face, and overcome. If you're addicted to marijuana, if you're addicted to cigarettes, if you're addicted to alcohol, if you're addicted to sex, if you're addicted to eating, if you're addicted to shopping, I already know you have a problem inside of you that you don't want to face. And the reason you became an addiction to a substance is because you're using that substance to distract you from yourself. Understand something. None of us are perfect. Everybody in this room has some sort of an emotional issue, whether you was abused by your parents. Maybe you don't know your parents. Maybe dad was abusive to mom. Maybe mom was an absentee. No matter what the situation is, you have an ill that you must fight. We all do. It's part of being human. But the difference between some of you and the others, some of you are going to face your demon and you're going to conquer it. And some of you are going to do what? Run away from your problems with liquor, cigarettes, and sex for the rest of your life. Make up your mind, brothers and sisters. One of the things I want to do in Africa is I want to help create a mental health treatment system in Africa. Because we got brothers and sisters. We got brothers and sisters in Africa who got problems and they need somebody to talk to and they don't know who to go to. And unfortunately, in Africa, there's a stigma that if you need to talk to somebody, you're somehow spiritually weak. It's the same thing in America. Your brothers and sisters across the pond, they need somebody to talk to, some of them, but I was told that if I'm a good enough Christian, Christ should be sufficient. If I'm a good enough Muslim, Muhammad should be sufficient. And Dr. Umar is here to tell you right now, your mental illness has nothing to do with your religion. Mental illness comes out of the fact that you live in an unhealthy society created by white people. This is why we got to take South Africa back. Because if we want black people to be healthy and if we want people to be whole, South Africa must be ruled by black people. I'm going to prepare to wrap this up in case there's time for questions. And of course, at the end, if anybody want to take a photo with Dr. Umar, we'll do that under the leadership of your leaders here. I want to say this, brothers and sisters. There are three main problems that are knocking on our doorstep as African people. And these three main problems are something that you're going to have to confront. Number one, land appropriation. There is an agenda to take Africa away from African people. They don't want nobody of black skin to own any sizable of land anywhere in the world. They're taking land from your brothers and sisters in England. They're taking land from your brothers and sisters in America. They're taking land from your brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, and they're taking land from brothers and sisters in Africa. We must hold on to the land, because if we lose Africa, we will be a race of slaves. If we lose our international homeland, we will be a race of slaves. There's no such thing as freedom without a land of your own. Number two, be careful of pharmaceuticals. They are pumping drugs into Africa, and some of y'all taking every drug they pump. You don't need the COVID shot, South Africa. That's Bill Gates' scam. You don't need autism shot. You don't need MMR. You don't need the flu shot. All these shots that they come up with are designed to compromise the black immune system. This is why we got so much cancer. This is why we got so much diabetes. This is why we got so much heart disease, because the chemicals that they are putting into the black body are designed to kill the black body. You are melanated. I need you to understand something. This black skin of ours, this is not a color. It is energy. It is a source. And this carbon in your skin, this energy interacts with everything you think, say, do, or digest into your body. And so when you're eating the white man's diet, you are compromising the health of your melanin. White people don't have as much melanin as black people, so they try to make you think melanin does not matter. Yes, it does when a black woman is pregnant. The sac that your baby is in inside your stomach, that's a melanated sac. When you have a wound on your skin, it turns black. That's melanin turning your skin black so it can heal the wound. The iris in your eye, that is melanin. We have more melanin than everyone else because we are more spiritual than everyone else. Melanin is God's gene. And for those of you who have children, please don't give them the MMR shot. Measles, mumps, and rubella is causing autism in South Africa. I'm going to say it again. The measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination that they want to give your South African babies is the trigger for autism. I know this because it's already been exposed in America. It's already been exposed in the UK. But why do you have so many black children with autism in South Africa? 50 years ago, we didn't have no autistic kids in South Africa. Why you got so many of them today? Because of the damn vaccinations. And you just keep giving your children these vaccinations. Why would someone trying to get rid of you give you something to help you live longer? I want to say this. I wish all of you well in everything that you do. As I look around, I see a lot of young faces. Young people, let me give you a little word for your future. Don't waste your time doing nothing with it. Social media is a waste of time. Use it for your organizing, but don't become an addict to TikTok. Don't become an addict to Instagram. Because guess what, young people? The older you get, faster your life goes. One day you 17, you wake up, you're 25. One day you 25, you wake up, you're 30. One day you wake up and you're 40, and you're going to look back on your life and say, what did I do with the time God gave me on this earth? Stop thinking you will always have a tomorrow. You don't always have a tomorrow. Get your life in order now. When I hear the South African government says they want to do something about crime, Dr. Umar scratches my head. You want to do something about crime, but you don't want to do anything about poverty. How does that work out? Help me understand how you want to do something about crime, but you don't want to do anything about poverty. Poverty is the soil that grows the tree of crime. If you don't attack poverty, you don't attack crime. And 56% of South Africa is living below the poverty line. And if I was on the government, you know what to do? South Africa is one of the world's leading producers of gold. South Africa is one of the world's leading producers of platinum. South Africa is one of the world's leading producers of iron ore. South Africa is one of the world's leading producers of diamonds. So guess what I'm going to do for every South African high school student? They're going to go to the mines and they're going to learn how to mine. They're going to learn the business of it. They're going to learn the investment of it. They're going to learn the trade of it. How have children in one of the most minerally rich countries on earth, and 56% of them are living in poverty? That don't make no sense at all. Train the children in the skills that can pay the bills. I want to close, but before I close, I want to give you my phone number in case you ever need to reach Dr. Umar. If you get into psychology and you need some advice, let me know. Into education and you need some advice, you let me know. If you're a parent and you have questions about your child, emotional problems or academic problems or psychological problems, that is my expertise. You call on me. So I'm going to give you my number. +1 is the code to America. You can add me on. You can text me at your leisure. +1 2 989 9858. Once again, +1 215 989 9858. I want to close with a story. A black man who was a Pan-Africanist. But y'all need the number again? One more time. +1. Hold the 0 down to get your plus. +1 215 989 9858. One day I want to bring some of your American African brothers and sisters over here so we can have a nice big think tank. The American Africans and the South Africans organized together in one united front. What do you think about that, brothers and sisters? So there was a black man by the name of Booker T. Washington. He was a Pan-Africanist. In fact, Marcus Garvey came from Jamaica to America to meet with Booker T. Washington. But when Marcus Garvey showed up, Booker T. Washington had already died. Booker T. Washington was born a slave. His mother was raped by the white man who owned his family in West Virginia. Booker T. Washington walked to Hampton Institute, a historically black college, to get an education. When he graduated, the principal of Hampton got a phone call asking if he had anyone who could come to Tuskegee, Alabama, to teach black children how to make a living. Booker T took the job. He got to Tuskegee. There was no school, so he had to use an old church and an old barn. When the first students of Tuskegee showed up, they asked Booker T. Washington, where's the lecture hall? Where's the class? Where's the cafeteria? Booker T. Washington said, you're standing on it. And he made the children dig up the ground. Students made their own bricks, built their own, they grew their own food, they sold their own clothes. They became so popular for making bricks that white people bought bricks from Tuskegee students instead of white companies. Booker T. Washington said, I need a scientist. He heard of another black named Dr. George Washington Carver, who was considered the #1 scientist in the world at the, not black, but period. He also was the child of a slave. He was castrated as his penis from his body because white people thought he wanted to have sex with their kids, so they cut off his reproductive organ. Dr. George Washington Carver went to Tuskegee to help Booker T. And when he got to Tuskegee, he asked Booker T the same questions that the students asked before. Where's my lecture hall? Where's my science lab? Where's my staff apartment? And Booker T. Washington told George Washington Carver, all we have is what you see. And Dr. George Washington Carver went to the trash of the students, and out of the trash, he took paper, he took copper, he took aluminum, he took metal, and out of the garbage, he invented more than 300 products from the peanut. Out of garbage, he invented more than 400 products from the sweet potato. Out of garbage, he invented hundreds of products from the soybean. Why am I? Because our ancestors had nothing and did everything. We got everything. We ain't done much of nothing. I want to close with a quote from the Honorable Frederick Douglass, I'm related to by blood. My family was stolen from Nigeria in 1701. A black man named Bailey brought to County, Eastern Shore, Maryland. He married a black woman by the name of Selah, for whom my 14-year-old daughter is named. In 1745, they had Grandma Jenny. In 1774, Grandma Jenny gave birth to Grandma Betsy. She was born a slave. She married a free black man, my grandpop Isaac. They had 12 children. One daughter was named Harriet. Another daughter was named Young Betsy, my 5 times great-grandmother born in slavery. In 1818, Aunt Harriet was raped by the slave master. So in February of 1818, she gave birth to the greatest black leader in American history. His name was Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. At the age of 20, he ran away from slavery and changed his name to hide his identity. So in 1938, Frederick Bailey became Frederick Douglass. In 1819, his half-brother was born, Stephen, my 4 times great-grandfather. They were brothers because was their daddy, but they were cousins because the slave master raped 2 sisters. My grandpa, Caroline, she didn't learn how to read until slavery was over. Their firstborn, George Washington Bailey, my 3 times great-grandfather and the first public school teacher in Denton, Maryland. After the Civil War was over, and both of my grandfathers fought in the Civil War. So South Africa, don't you ever let anybody tell you Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves in America. Hell no. The slaves freed Abraham Lincoln in America. My grandpop George married my grandma Manny. They had my grandma. She moved to Philadelphia. She had my grandma Vivian. She married a Spanish-speaking African from Havana, Cuba. My great-grandfather Cicero, who I met on the bed. They had my grandma Ida. She met and married James Johnson. They had my father Maul Johnson. He met and married my mother Barbara and on the 21st in North Philadelphia. The anniversary of the Haitian Revolution. The anniversary of the Nat Turner Revolution. The anniversary of the Revolution. I was born. Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and deprecation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They rain, but they're scared of the thunder or the light. They want the ocean, but they're scared of the roar of the water. Frederick Douglass said, a man may not get all you pay for, but you will pay for everything that you get. And if South Africa is ever to become free, you will have to pay for that freedom. You may have to pay with blood, you may have to pay with life, but freedom is not free. Frederick Douglass said, For 20 years, I prayed on my knee for freedom, but the good Lord gave me no freedom until I up off my knees and start praying with my feet. From white people, why do you look for pity? The man pities you will never respect you, and the man who respects you has no need for pity, no struggle, no progress. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who gave us the red, black, and green flag and the greatest Pan-Africanist movement of all time and the greatest human organizer of all time. Mao copied Garvey. Hitler copied Garvey, although Garvey was not a racist. Mussolini copied Garvey. If you study white nationalism, you copied the program of Marcus Garvey. There would have never been Malcolm X if there wasn't an Earl and Louise Little. Malcolm X's mother were officers in the Garvey movement. Elijah Muhammad, who founded the Nation of Islam, he was a member of the Garvey movement. Every great black movement came Garvey. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana used to go to UNIs in Philadelphia and study Garvey. Patrice Lumumba would study Garvey. Robert Sobukwe of the Pan-African Congress was a student of the teachings of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Garvey said, and I want you young people to hear me well when I say this. Garvey said, without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. Without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. Marcus Garvey said, the greatest weapon used against African people is disorganization. Garvey said, we don't suffer because we black. We suffer because we're black and disorganized. Garvey said, if the black man and woman are not careful, you will drink in all the poison of Western civilization and use of it. Garvey, are you an African or are you a Jamaican? Are you an African or are you a Jamaican? And that black man stood up and said, you ask me, am I African or am I Jamaican? I tell you, I would never, ever give up a continent for an island. I am in Africa. South Africa, I love you. Black power.
Black power. Black power.
Black power. Black power. Ifa Tunde. Ifa Tunde. Ifa Tunde. One love, family. Thank you, my friend.
So, what's going on in my head right now is looking at all of you young people. And I've been watching you from here. And I wish I was sitting there at that age. I'm over 50 years old. I've passed the 50s. But all I kept sitting there and thinking, couldn't just I be them listening to the great Ifatunde? Black power! Black power! Black power! Because that's what you're experiencing today. If you've never experienced black power, just manifested it, and you will have no excuse in the future ever to say you've never witnessed black power. And let me tell you, Khan, Honorable President, Honorable Member of Parliament, I just wish you could do this for your next big Congress. You need to bring Ifatunde. You need to bring Ifatunde back. Because you have the right Miller, and I'm a student of history. I'm an Africologist. And Africology is a logical study of Africa for Africans because we've had 1,000 years of illogical experience and almost turning the page of illogical behavior. So, Honorable Member Pant, I'm putting it in your hands. At this point, Nobala, you to come and we'll take 5 questions. I'd like facilitate the taking of the questions. Honorable President, so you know your name is your purpose. And your name, if you tap into the power of your name, you'll be on the path of your near purpose. Over to you, Honorable G.
And before the Honorable SG goes, I want to say that I hope one day that MK as a group tour bring you all to the United States so Dr. Umar can take you on the tour of the history.
All right, come run round because it's late this evening. We'll take a run of hands of, we'll do five. We'll do five. So we'll start 1, 2.
Make sure you get some women, Honorable Secretary.
Definitely. 3.
Where the sisters at? No questions from the queens?
No question. Okay, it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's
All right. Who's number one?
over there.
State your, I will repeat it. Who's my one? Okay, stand up, please, brother. If you have the 7 questions, come stand behind the brother so everybody can hear you. Go right ahead, King.
All right.
Face the audience.
Okay. Greetings to everyone. My name is Bongan and I'm from Pietermaritzburg. My question to the Prince of Pan-Africanism, it's a question that I meant to ask the first time we met in Johannesburg. I did not get it.
Yes.
Since introduced to Dr. Umar's teachings, my brother already said here that some of us were introduced to years of university.
Yes, sir.
Since then, we've been trying to organize, because in your teachings, you teach us that we organize.
Yes.
We've been trying to organize our people since then, and they seem not to be ready. I think of the MK, it was informed by your teachings as well, because it was formed as an ordinary political party. It was trying to unite all these political parties so that we can speak in one voice as South Africans.
Yeah.
Now these brothers and sisters of ours seem not a revolution or for this thing that we are trying to push. Now my question is, what is it that we should do now? The alternative, other than trying to organize these people, because we can identify some of us that are ready. I think is we do not outnumber the ones that are ready. What alternative do we have? What is it that we should do to fasten the process of liberating our people?
Great question. And I have 5 points on that question. Point number 1, revolution is not an event, it is a process. Consciousness develops in their own time. She may be awake 5 years before she becomes awake. He may take 20 years to wake. So as we recruit and bring people into, we are patient with those who are not yet ready. Because when they are ready, they might be more loyal to the ones you've been fighting with. So give people to grow to where we want them to be. And this is why we need a study group. Because in the study group, you help educate them so they can begin to formulate their own. It's going to be hard to wake. That's number 1. Number 2, don't assume that you are the best person in the group. Others. This is where the ego of the need can get to us. She might be a better organizer. Who is the best people person? They are the ones who should go out fishing for new members. Because everybody don't receive this message at the same time from everybody else. We got to be who we sending after the single mothers, who we sending after the married families, who we after the brothers who just got out of jail, who we sending after the we can grab them before they become the next generation because gatekeepers. You got to target every population in South Africa. But let me tell you this, biggest mistake you can make is trying to organize everybody. Let me explain something. There's 3 groups in South Africa, like there are in any place where law. There are those who are loyal to the freedom struggle. That's most of you. Then you have another third who are loyal to apartheid. Ass for white people. And then you have another third who are your black bourgeoisies. They make too much money, good of a job to ever be caught seen with you. I'd rather have 100 loyal members of NK than 200,000 I cannot trust. And my last point on this, are we humble enough to engage in inter-organizational constructive criticism? What do I mean by that? If I'm doing something wrong, she should be able to. If she's doing something wrong, I should be able to correct her. If you notice there's a flaw in the way I'm going out and recruiting, you should be able to tell me. One of the biggest problems we have in organizations is everybody's ego is too frail to be constructively criticized. Again, are we here for the people or for your ego? Blower. Number 2. From this one, let me work on it, Princess.
Kwaza Nkonto Kwaza. Nifitsunde Sanbonani. Big brother.
One of the biggest problems we have here is the police. Whenever you rise up against the system, they get you, they incarcerate you. Testimony to that is one of our former leaders of the Youth League, Bonkosi Kanyile. He led the FISMAS for movement. He was locked up for more than 6 months. He was in jail. And they showed us that if you rise up to the system, that's what they're going to do to you. So many of the students here are afraid to stand up and rise. Our former president is still attending court cases. He's always in court. He's an old man. He's 82, 83 years old, but he's still going through court. So how do we fight the justice system? Some examples of young leaders, yeah? And then number 2, the entertainment industry. We really have a voice or through to get into the other countries. Hence, you might not know what country, because whatever we film, whatever we shoot, it's just on this local TikTok and this local YouTube. So a machine mechanism, but we're struggling to get through commercial movies. We can't do that. We're trying to make commercial documentaries. We can't do that. We want to connect with the rest of the world. We're unable because I don't know, but this is not letting us, get further with that.
Question. 3 points. Number 1, the police are not the core problem. They are a symptom of the core. Do you know what the core problem is? Your government, your problem. If we control the government, the police will always be a problem in South Africa until black people take back control of the government. Are y'all following me? The police does what the government the police. The primary job of the police is what? In every country controlled by white money, the job of the police is to protect the interests of the capitalists. They are not in the to save you. They're in the townships, the businesses from you. The police have never been our friend. In America, the police grew out of the slave plantation. They were the original supervisors of slaves to make sure our ancestors did not run away. So the police will never get control of the government. We get control of the police. Number two, if I'm sitting in on an MK meeting,
one, so that intergenerational transfer is properly done. Then secondly, how do we protect our intellectual property in this day and age where information is just so obscure and is getting even more obscure? How do we do that? And then lastly, the African family. What is one thing important, all of us, to remember about the African family? Asante.
Asante, great question. Number Biko and giving you stories of the time with Bukwe, and giving you stories of the time with the Mandelas, giving you stories of their time in detention. We need that wisdom because the elders are the continuity, the intelligence of the struggle. You're the warrior. They're the continuity of intelligence of the struggle. The biggest weakness of African youth in the world is we don't have a council of elders. Get out. And cannot be stolen or pirated online. Get it. All of the information is public in your libraries. It's in the government chambers. Create an intellectual property committee whose job is to study and inform the leadership of MK how exactly we go about trademarking our name, trademarking our logos, copy or literature. You have to do that because I can tell you, our slogans, they steal my logo. Y'all see them, Black Queens forever, Snowbirds never. They steal everything Umar does. But y'all need an intellectual property team. What I'm doing in America right now to protect my intellect is my name without my, or if they misrepresent me in some way, then I get to sue them or get what they have taken down. So we have to master that intellectual property because in the days of media, people will take your and not even give you credit. Last point, the Queen said something that I could give as it relates to the culture, I believe it was, the wisdom of we as a people. I would say this: serve the children, remember the ancestors, and never be afraid to die for the people. Serve the children, ancestors, and never to die for the people. Number 4. African family, we got to get married. Fellas, I know the sisters are fine. I see them, but almond queens, my caramels, my chocolate queens, my fudge, my pina colada. I need you to understand something. All my South African brothers, listen to me. I'm dead serious. The black woman is not your plaything. She is not your toy. The toughest things you're going to have to learn how to do as a man, not a boy, but a man. And that is find that woman. And you will know when you found her. Do you have the discipline of all the other women and commit to your mate? That is the hardest thing for a man to do, but we have to know because nature and your ancestors, brothers, don't always give you a second time to find a good mate. If you miss the one for you, she may never. We as black men got a bad habit down to enjoy success at the dinner with women who never struggled with us. When you dine, you should dine with the woman who wanted your ass when you had nothing. Black power. Number 4.
Greetings everyone in the house. My name is Ernest Africa.
Yes, sir.
I'm a citizen of South Africa who's been by the former liberation movement, refused to abide by the betrayal of the former liberation movement and other political parties who claim to fight for people. I've been covered with some, I'm only left with only 2 questions. Thank you, the speaker, to ask the questions. That was the question that I had. Only 2 questions, only education and Afrocentric consciousness. Many South African universities promote or Eurocentric ideas as a superior knowledge. how can young Pan-Africans challenge the academic narrative while succeeding in this institution without being isolated or silenced? Question number 2 it's about economic liberation and one of often encourages boycotting multinational operation that exploit black communities, but many people rely on these same companies. Is it realistic to reject them without a strong self-reliant alternative? And how do we practically begin building those alternatives? Thank you.
Great question. Number one, the Eurocentric curriculums in South Africa. In America, we have historically black colleges. Although they are historically black and out of a need for enslaved Africans to, and although those HBCUs in America cater to the needs of black students, they are very much Eurocentric as well, right? So yes, we love Howard and we love Morehouse and we love Spelman and we love all the HBCUs in America, but many of them are still dominated by white money authority. Okay, there's HBCUs in America, black history. So this question, African-centered curriculum, goes right back to Parliament. It goes right back to government. Governments legislate curriculum. Curriculum, if we want the history of South Africa, if we want the culture of South Africa taught universities, that is an agenda for election. That is an agenda item for Parliament. But I'm going to go a step further, because as an educator, I often hear from the teachers in South Africa that our brothers and sisters in South Africa are influenced away from speaking their indigenous tongues in school. Is that true? That they want to speak the white man tongue, the Chinese man tongue, everybody tongue but their own tongue. That issue for legislation. So let us organize. We need in Parliament and national government and change the curriculum. The second question, as it related to global capitalism in South Africa, anybody running for office in South Africa, if Dr. Umar were a citizen, one of the biggest questions I would have for your next presidential election, what corporation are you going to build in South Africa that is going to be controlled by black South, that is going to employ black South Africans, and whose revenue is going to be invested into black South Africa? I would vote for a political candidate in any African who does not have a plan to build black industry for the benefit of indigenous black South Africans. Thing that you have to demand talking to folks who are running for office. If you don't demand it, you will never get it. And before we go to number 5, I want to tell y'all this. Democracy is important. Voting is important. But guess what? We have to make sure we don't allow them to distract us from the that what South Africa wants is their land and their resources back. Don't get too caught up into who winning and who losing. Get caught up into how we're going to get our resources back. Because guess what, South Africa? They ran the same game on Black America. We voted for Barack Obama, and we voted for Bill Clinton, and we voted for Joe Biden, voted for Jimmy Carter, and we voted for John Kennedy, and we voted for all these politicians thinking that they're going to change something. Listen, and I don't want to have to say this, they got to. South Africa was taken in blood. South Africa in blood. I'm not telling you to go out there and get involved in any revolutionary action right now, you know, because The armed struggle is the final stage of any battle. First, there's the political, there's the economic, there's the intellect, there's the spiritual, there's the social, there's all kind of other struggles you got to win, but the final struggle will be a physical one. If you think for 1 minute you're going to take South back with a vote and not a bullet, your mind. Black power. Number 5. Go ahead, King.
I am an independent political analyst and the head of Focus Center for Critical Social Political Dialogue. I work like you.
Quick question before you continue.
Yeah.
Who finances your
My work? Solely independent.
Solely independent. No white corporations.
No white corporations.
Okay, brother. Get that brother a hand. Be free. Free air.
I made a lot of notes. I could have said a lot of things, but because I'm conscious of time, I want to make a point. Some of the benefits disturbment, the Black Liberation Project, is our relationship with the concept of time, right? And of course, the discipline to respect time, to respect the fact that if we say 4 o'clock, we say it's 10 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock. And I say, of course, I want to denigrate anyone. But I want to say, sometimes we focus so much on the philosophical decisions, and we don't focus on the very minute, small questions of the fact that we must be a disciplined political force is able, because we are dealing with an organized political global system. And if we want it as if we are doing a TikTok trend, like some freelancing, and we're not going to be so organized and so disciplined, even to, I think the Black Liberation Project is to be delayed by a further 100 years if we don't at least fix our relationship with discipline and time. But I digress. I said, note. One of the questions I want to, Dr. Umar, to reflect is this idea of when we speak about unity, Black solidarity. I mean, Bigo mentioned this. It mentions Black solidarity. Amika Cabral speaks about the idea of unity. Some of our best sons and daughters of Africa have always been concerned about the question of unity. I mean, it's unity for what sake? What do we mean when we speak unity? Do we mean a clubbing with no real political program and political principle guiding this unity? Do we just want to be together because we want to be together for a specific program? And also, do we mean by unity, does it mean if my neighbor must I to come and unite in your house? Or we can unite and build a cohesive political community as a one united force without having to burn the different houses we live in. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. I follow. Question, because I think in South Africa, I think this question for them is a question that they've been in for the past 2 years. This question of building, people are feeling that as if MK wants to almost swallow every big MK party without understanding that, I mean, Black solidarity and Black unity must be built not for own sake, but for the sake of the future project. All of our leaders, from Mosama, Gavi to Bigo, have always been concerned about it. The last point I want to make is this one. I mean, I'm going to leave all the other things.
Hold it. Let me deal with what he said, because it's a very good point. I need y'all to understand something. Weak unity without uniformity. Are y'all listening to me? Unity without uniformity. What does that mean? It means that they're of solidarity, that we all agree. Beyond that, you can do whatever you want. For example, one of Dr. Umar's principles of solidarity: I will not struggle with you. I don't care who you are, and where you are if you a damn hopper. Do you understand? If you date outside the race, I don't trust struggle with you. That is a personal principle of solidarity. He might eat meat, he might be a vegetarian. He might be Christian, he might be an African spiritual traditionalist. We have to give people room to cut out carbon copies of the leadership. We are human. For the sake of unity, or is it unity tied to a political agenda? It's both. And I'm going to tell you why. We have South Africans right now who wish they had somebody they could just talk to. We got mothers in South Africa right now who wish they could just bounce some ideas off about raising their kids with another sister. So as African people, we are a social people. So we need unity for the sake of the social order, just because it's good for the mental health of African people. And then we also need another unity that is completely tied to the political agenda. So you need both. One isn't more important than the other, because guess what? You cannot win a war if most of your soldiers are mentally unhealthy and socially imbalanced. Black power.
I mean, quickly, because I see the SG is very anxious about the idea of time. Yeah. I mean, illegal immigration as a consequence of colonialism in capitalism.
Yes.
And not as an occasion our African brothers do to come to South Africa. But also South Africa in its historical basis as a key factor in the building of the illegal migration labor force in South Africa. I mean, Cecil John Jones.
Yes.
The
Yes.
South African capitalist system as a key factor in the building of the illegal immigration bloc in Africa. The last point I want to ask you is this. If you remember before 1963, before the so-called African Liberation Day we celebrate today.
Yes, sir.
Before the 25th of May 1963, Fanon, Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere on the other side, Mama Ya, they debate, right? The Monrovia and the Casablanca group. My question is very simple. What do you think happens when the Casablanca group wins the debate? Because when the Monrovia, the other group wins the debate, right? The nation state becomes the continued reality of Africa. So the idea of whether I'm Zimbabwean or South African is maintained because we refused to immediately integrate in 1963. So what happens when the other group wins? What happens when Fanon and Nkrumah win the debate and not Nyerere? What happens to black unity, especially in Africa? And what happens to the idea of migration and the idea of nationhood and identity?
Great question. Great question, my brother. You're a deep thinker, too. I appreciate that. 3 points to what he said. I want y'all to understand that there's something called political evolution. If we choose the wrong people for office, eventually the spirit of the people will replace them. South Africa will have another independence because what you got for all your blood in 1894 is not what you paid for. It has to be another struggle. To my brother's point, the reason you do not have a United States of Africa is because you have 54, 55 arrogant leaders who don't be held accountable by the other arrogant leaders. Are y'all listening to me? Nobody in Africa wants oversight. anybody else in Africa. It is the ego of the Negro that is keeping Africa disintegrated. And that's exactly how the white man wants to keep it. You know why? Because 1/3 of all African countries, not South Africa, because y'all large, but 1/3 of Africa is too small to stand up to America, too small to stand up to England, too small to stand up to Belgium, too small to stand up to Russia, too small to stand up to France. And that's how it wants it. The white man can't go to war with them. White man know Benin can't go to war with him. The white man know all these small little countries don't stand a chance. Africa has to, in order for Africa to become powerful. But again, can't bring that USA, United States of Africa, because the leadership does not accountable for its decisions. And the only way we change that is by raising up a new continent leadership. I am of the firm opinion that the next great revolution in Africa will be South Africa. I want you to be careful how you treat the immigrant brothers and sisters. I didn't say you can't check them for going against the South African people, but do it with love. Because when that continent-wide revolution comes, you're going to need that immigrant brother from Botswana. You're going to need that immigrant sister from Angola. You're going to need that family from Lesotho. So let's make sure we practice diplomacy. And what is diplomacy? The art of being respectful, even though I don't trust you. We're going to need diplomacy to get to where we need to be. Because guess what? Most of Africa is still steeped in tribalism. Y'all know it because to an extent, South Africa still has a tribalism problem. You don't think I hear the conversations about the Zulus versus the Xhosa? Yes, I hear it. I hear it. Everywhere I go in Africa, there's a beef between the two largest kingdoms. What you beefing for when y'all got the same enemy? Bring it all together. Because when you die, before we go to number 6, when you die, there's no bone that says this is a Zulu skeleton and that's a Xhosa skeleton. Ain't no bone, this is Swazi and this is Khoi. You just Africans, period. Love the kingdom, love the culture, love your history, love your legacy. But don't let it turn you into the enemy of another African. Your culture should be a weapon for us, not a weapon against us. Black power. Number 6.
Black power.
Black power.
No sharing. Black power.
Black power.
No sharing. Black power.
Black power.
No sharing. Black power. Black power. No sharing. No sharing. Black power. Izole too. Yeah, Africa. Yeah, Africa. Izole too. Yeah, Africa. One settler, one bullet. One settler, one bullet. Bullet. Settler. Ikhanda lephunu, i-joining fee. Ikhanda lephunu, i-joining fee. I-joining fee. Amandla. Thank you very much. I'm starting with these slogans because they are important. These slogans do not come out of my mind. They come from our historical history that is embedded in the struggle of our forefathers, of Umkhonto weSizwe, the military wing of the ANC, of APLA, the military wing of the PAC, of Azanla, the military wing. One settler, one bullet, one settler is not a creation of Bongozi Kanyile. And they're important for the young generation to know these slogans. Can I please greet my mothers who are seated? I know my mother, I'm your product. I'm confident and now in duty when we started Africology. We're scared even to touch a mic, we would shake when we speak. Now we're bold and we're old now. My mothers, my sisters, my fathers, brothers and sisters, bodade, brother, very much.
Can you please clap hands for yourself for staying until I thought by this time there'll be half of you here, because I know many of you are bored when you speak about the country and our ideas. Please clap hands for yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. South Africa is ready for revolution.
I want my brother for you to assist us. My name is Bongikosi Gift Education Umntwana Makojela Kanyile, the founding president of the MK Youth League, who founded the Youth League, but now I'm led. Because we must, as leaders, have an appreciation that you lead. As much as you lead, you must also accept to be led. I think that's where it starts. We are led now by the leadership. My question says,
You're still MK, correct?
I am
okay.
Okay. But I'm a volunteer. I don't hold any position. Just a volunteer on the ground. My question says, I was part of the people who agitated for fees must fall, where we said during fees must fall, education must be free in terms of its content and in terms of its monetary value, into two components. We fought for the decommodification of higher education because we thought that education must be like a public good, not a private good. Because we understood that Or Tambo taught us that any nation that does not take care of its youth does not deserve its future. If you educate me, I become a doctor, or I become a nurse, or I become a lawyer. I'm not a Kanyile lawyer. I'm not a nurse for the Kanyile, but I'm a lawyer and nurse of the nation that is service to Africa, as Sobukwe correctly articulated. We argued that education must be free in terms of its monetary value. On the part of content, we said we want a people's education for people's power. With African problems, they deserve African solutions. We no longer want Eurocentric answers into Afrocentric problems. We want our education to mirror ourselves, our aspirations, our dreams, our being, and our totality as the Black indigenous people of this African continent. After saying that, we further said, on 1955, there was an adoption of the Freedom Charter, which is a document I fundamentally reject as a person, because it says all of us were equal, black and white.
I agree.
I reject the Freedom Charter. I'm not part of it. But there was only one clause that we stood by it as the fees must fall generation, that said education must be opened for all. It was adopted by elders who are currently running this government. But also President Mandela, when he campaigned in 1994, there's even a poster where he said there must be free education for all. Also in his own speech, Nelson Mandela said education can be used as a tool to liberate the poor. When you go to universities, education is very expensive. I studied in MUT, DUT. I studied in UKZN, Howard College. The last study when I did law, it was University. That's how they call it when I went there. At Vert University, a year for you to stay in residence of Junction, it's 117,000. Food is 80,000 if you eat at the cafeteria. Then there are book allowances. Then there's a tuition fee. A year almost is 200,000 by that time when I studied law at Vets, which therefore says because a law degree is 4 years, it means your degree is 800,000. If you say education can be used as a tool to liberate the poor, then you make it expensive. Who will have access to this education? It is going to be white people, and it's going to be the children of politicians who are in cahoots with these white people, not me and you as ordinary people of South Africans. Then you said fees must fall. After saying that, my brother, we were traumatized. We were arrested in numbers. We were sent to jail. I am part of the people who was arrested by then. I'm a physical victim who went to jail. Abo Sihle Zikala who just spoke before me. That is why he has clarity. Is because we used to share notes during Christmas for some of his ideas he speaks are my ideas. I'm joking.
Copyright, patent, trademark.
So, so there are many comrades who are a fullest generation that we were with. We were traumatized, sent to jail. There was a state of emergency that said, on campus, you can't be a group of 3. If you're a group of 3, you can be arrested. They targeted people in residences, sent them to jail. I went to jail. When I went to jail, I was denied bail at a regional court, high court, and until constitutional court. We were made an example. There's fear amongst young people who see that those who tried this never won, actually. I need to take my degree because I come from a poor family. How do we kill that fear to these young people whom are leaders? Because most of them, they are registered in universities. What is it that you must do or study or pursue to kill that fear? The last question, because of time. I want your view. Because there's a constitution. Karl Marx, I'm not a Marxist, I'm a pure Pan-Africanist. But Karl Marx argues that there are 2 cohesive arms of the state in any nation, which is a non-cohesive arm and a cohesive arm, which means you have the indoctrination of your social media, your books, your papers and everything else. But also there is a cohesive arm, which are the police and the judiciary and so on and so forth. Yeah, they know. Our president in 2021, he was arrested without trial. Literally, the Constitution of South Africa, which was duly adopted in 1996 for the democratic dispensation, was overridden on daylight. Because there is where you say all processes must be followed for us to arrest a person. A judge, literally Judge Zondo, Ubered himself or walked to Constitutional Court and said, there's now a sentence, go fetch President Zuma in Nkandla because they disliked him. We went on the street. When we went on the street, some of us were arrested. I'm still on the trial. You know, on my papers, it's not only the state which is a weakness, it's also black people. One of them that I found who are to give evidence is now a card-carrying member of Umkhonto weSizwe. How do we kill how do we kill treasury in ourselves as members of the organization? But also, what is your thinking in a role of the judiciary in a democratic dispensation? Do we respect it or do we defy it? And as I give my beautiful Secretary General, what is your view in feminism and what is your view in polygamy? Clarify as you want to know.
Give my brother a hand. Give him a hand, brothers and sisters. There was a lot there. For the sake of time, I'm going to hit on some of it. I won't be able to hit on all of it. Okay? Number 1, no government should be respected if it disrespects the people. The government derives their authority from the will of the people. When the government no longer honors the will of the people have no obligation to honor the government. That's number 1. Number 2, I follow South African elections. And one of the things that puzzles me when I follow South African elections, same thing in America, it's the same thing. Issues like this, fees must fall, I haven't seen it as a major issue since fees must fall. So why do we keep voting for people when they don't have our agenda on their platform? See, we have to take responsibility for the fact that we are condoning our agenda being dismissed. I didn't vote in the last presidential election. A lot of black people said, Dr. Umar, how could you not? Because neither candidate, not Kamala Harris, not Donald Trump, they offered nothing to African people. I don't vote unless you're giving me something. You have to stop validating a system that ignores you. On the issue of feminism, I want my sisters to be careful about feminism. Feminism was created by the CIA to destroy the black family by turning the black woman against the black man. Listen to me, sisters. That don't mean we can't have black womanism, no. Because if she say, Dr. Umar, brothers are exploiting sisters, we got to deal with that. Men are putting their hands on their women, we got to deal with that. In our revolutionary organizations, they don't want to give sisters leadership organizations. They only want our sisters for cooking and taking notes and giving out cookies. We got to deal with that. There is sexism in the black community, but black men do not control any institutions by which we can disenfranchise black women. So feminism don't work in the black community because the black man doesn't control the black community. But we can have a black womanism. What I'm saying is black women have the right to hold black men accountable. But I'm also saying black women don't have the right to unite with white women against black men. Because guess what? That white woman will fight all day for her rights. But guess what? At 5 o'clock, she goes home and serves her husband. We have to make sure, black women, that we're not letting other people's agendas manipulate you into destroying your own family. And black men, we have to stop limiting our sisters to stereotypical duties in revolutionary organizations. I'm glad to see you in the position you in. Okay, I thought that was the police coming for me. Okay? And as far as polygamy goes, let me ask my secretary, is there a shortage of black men in South Africa? What is the male-female ratio? It is? 1 to 5? 1 to 5. So let me say this to my beautiful African sisters. I'm being told it's not enough brothers to go around. So y'all know what that means. We're going to have to do a little bit of sharing, just a little bit. But listen, brothers, if you can afford 2 women, why are you looking for 2? No romance without no finance. So first of all, you got to be able to afford it, my brothers. But black women, I want to say this. We cannot allow our community to be destroyed because black women don't want for your sister what you want for yourself. Nobody shares because they want to. People share because they have to. And I'm not saying we're ready for polygamy in South Africa right now, because a lot of you young brothers, you are oversexed and undisciplined. If we went to polygamy today, all you do would be running out there with your little stick trying to get some. We don't need that. We need discipline and we need organization. If Dr. Umar was in charge of polygamy in South Africa, guess what, brothers? You want 2 wives? No problem. Your first wife will be the wife you want. Your second wife will be the wife the community chooses for you. Do y'all see how that works? Oh, yeah. See, it got quiet now. You thought you was going to have 2 fine chicks? Nah, family. Nah, family. You're going to have 1 fine chick and 1 fixer-upper. I'm dead serious. Because polygamy is supposed to work for the village. Am I wrong? That means an unattractive sister or a sister with a disease that she can't get rid of or a sister with more children than what the average man might want, she should have as much right to have a husband as the most attractive woman we have. So polygyny is supposed to benefit the women so they're not raising kids on their own and dying in old age alone. So if black men are engaging in polygyny for the village, then you should be willing to accept whatever wife the village gives you. And if you're not willing to accept whatever wife the village gives you, you're not in this for the people, you're in this for your pee-pee. And I'm going to leave it right there. Where my number 7 at? Okay, we got to stop because of time. We got time for the pictures? Okay, when we're done, and I want y'all to listen. When we're done, there's going to be 2 lines. You're not going to move now. When we're done, all my sisters, you're going to have a line coming this way. All my brothers, you're going to have a line coming this way. You're going to have your cell phone out. I'm going to get 2 volunteers from MK, one for the male line, one for the female line. You're going to give them your phone. They're going to take your picture, and you're going to exit the building because we got to get out of here. Do you understand? We don't have time for videos, so don't ask me. Photos only. And if you got a white girlfriend, we not taking no picture. Black queens forever.
Thank you so much, Dr. Umar. To wrap it up for us, I am going to call the head in Togo of the MK Party Youth League. He's the former convener of this beautiful region that we're in called eThekwini. Mongameli Uqiniso Cibane.
Amandla awethu sihole msholozi sihole. Viva MK Youth League, viva. Viva President Zuma, viva. Viva Ibrahim Traore, viva. Viva High Command, viva. Comrades, thank you very much to our guest, Dr. Ifatunde. Thank you very much. This is one of many gatherings from the MK Youth League and yourself. Thank you to the Institute of Africology. Thank you to the volunteers, the current officers of the MK Party. In fact, what we are doing here, we are executing a mandate that was given to us by our Supreme Leader, our Commander General, President J.G. Zuma, that we must build relations with the progressive forces in our country, in our continent, then globally. So in fact, we are planning a trip as the detachment of the MK Youth League to go abroad and build relations with the progressive forces. Comrades, I cannot say much. A lot has been said here, but I would like to take on some few words which Comrade Zigalala, which he stole from me. I think he censored my speech. Then he stole. You know, comrades, the Casablanca group, the Casablanca bloc, comrade, I think their spirit is uniting us now, comrades. The spirit of Muammar Gaddafi, which he tried to unite Africa in 2009 to 2011, is uniting us, is here today. And it's our time now, comrades, to carry on with that ideology, of course, being guided by that spirit which will protect us. President Zuma has paved the way for us in this country, that we must unite all progressive forces in our country and make sure that we win elections and change the constitution and have an African constitution, not this Roman Dutch law constitution. So that's our mandate. But we'd like to give you a message that you must convey wherever you are going. That in 2024, 29 May, the votes of the MK Party were stolen in this country with the assistance of USA. They used Janet Love. She came here and she rigged IEC for 2 hours. Now, our revolution phase was that we must vote at the beginning. But there is a phase that is coming that will lead to us to pick up arms and fight for this country. So we are not anarchists. MK Party is not a party of anarchists. We are Democrats who believe in the Constitution, even though we want to change it, but we believe in it. But we must convey this message that MK Party votes were stolen last year, May 2024. Amandla! Sicela nje umuntu engalali comrades afake laphayana. We have our guest, our artist, an international artist called Ntengalali, which will give us 2 songs, then we'll execute this venue. But be rest assured, we'll be coming to America and we'll invite you again to come and lecture us. Amandla! Awethu! Kwaza mkhonto kwaza! Sipilele msholozi sipilele! Viva msholozi viva! Sihole msholozi sihole! Die GNU die! Die Ramaphosa die! Die Mbalula die! Die Senzo die! Die Nkebane die! Forward to free education, forward! Forward! Forward to free education, forward! Forward! Baholi bethu, baholi bethu, siyanixelela, siyanixelela. Ukuthi amandla, amandla asemas. Baholi bethu, baholi bethu, siyanixelela, siyanixelela. Ukuthi amandla, amandla, amandla. Baholi bethu, baholi bethu, siyanixelela, Ntengalali wozozozo nixele ukuthi amandla, amandla, wasamkhot, bakwasemkhot, wasamkhot, bakwasemkhot, wasamkhot, bakwasemkhot, wasamkhot, bakwasemkhot, wasamkhot, bakwasemkhot, wasamkhot, bakwasemkhot. Ayo. Kithi wonke amakhosi akuleli, kisho wonke amakhosi akuleli, kisho ngoba inhlangano yabantu bonke, kisho wonke amakhosi akuleli, kisho wonke amakhosi akuleli, kisho ngoba inhlangano yabantu bonke, kisho wonke abemuthusa kuleli, kisho wonke amamuthusa kuleli, kisho ngoba inhlangano amandla thatha mkhonto wesizwe thatha viva youth league viva amandla silok my DJ bayangena bona bayaphithise uthini bayangena bagcolile abayaphuma bayaphithisela sikhathomsela seyindawo sikhathomsela seyindawo sikhathomsela seyindawo sikhathomsela seyindawo uthini
bayangena bagcolile Tisela uthini bayangena bagcolile bona bayaphisela sikathumsela seyendawo sikathumsela seyendawo sikathumsela sikathumsela seyendawo uthini bayangena bagcolile uthini bayangena bagcolile bona bayaphithizela ngoba sikathumsela 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 seyendawo sikathumsela seyendawo bayangena bagcolile bayaphithizela bagcolile bona bayaphithizela uthini sikathumsela sikathumsela seyendawo uthini sikathumsela seyendawo sikathumsela uthini ulayini mawuqonde ulayini mawuqonde ulayini mawuqonde uthini ulayini mawuqonde ubafuna uqondisa namalala qondisa ulayini namalala qondisa ulayini namalala qondisa ulayini namalala qondisa ulayini uthini bayangena bagcolile bona bayaphithizela bayangena bagcolile bayaphithizela sikathumsela seyendawo sikathumsela seyendawo sikathumsela sikathumsela seyendawo abasha Basa! Basa! Uthini awubakwazi emkojo awubakwazi emkojo awubakwazi emkojo awubakwazi emkojo awubakwazi emkojo awubakwazi emkojo uthini angithi ke angithi ke bajani izama ukushaya umkojo angithi ke bajani angithi ke bajani izama ukushaya umkojo uthini asambe awubakwazi emkojo awubakwazi emkojo awubakwazi emkojo angithi ke bajani angithi ke bajani basamani yazama ukushaya umkojo Wattention! Ngike ngabona umkhodo ka hey! Kaphile ngawubona akavele ngabo. Ubunjuleni! Size! Hey! Wattention! Umkhodo ngawubona. Kaphile ngawubona akavele ngabo. Ubunjuleni! Hey! 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 1, 2, 3. Asamba, 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 asamba. Oh, hey. Awuba kwaze mkhoto. Awuba kwaze. Hey. Mkhoto. Awuba kwaze mkhoto. Awuba kwaze mkhoto. Oh. Awuba kwaze mkhoto. Uthini? Abethi. Banjani? Angithi kuyo banjani? Lizama ukuhlakaza umkhoto. Wathini? Ngike ngabona umkhosi. Angithi kuyo banjani? Lizama ukuhlakaza umkhoto. Wathini? Hayi. Bona umkhoto ngawuboni.
Black power, black power, black power. So you've heard what Dr. Umar instructed. All the sisters come in line here. Those who want to take pictures. All the brothers come in line. Let's make a move. We gotta go. Come on.
Real quick, if you want a photo, come up here with your cell phone right now. All ladies over here, all brothers over here. You're going to come up on the ramp. I need a volunteer from MK to snap the pictures for me right there. You got me, my brother? Yeah. Okay, go ahead and stand right there. Give him your phone. Oh, yeah. Okay, who got your phone?
There he is.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Are you winning?
You got it.